Hello, everybody. Welcome to American Barbell Unleashed. I'm Phil Patty. I'm sitting here with Kyron Holden,
Yes,
and Kyron has a very diversified background in strength training, Olympic competitive sports, seven-time
seven-time Olympian.
seven-time, as well as a high-level yoga instructor as well. And thank you for coming in.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you, and tell the listeners, and including myself, a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, he covered a lot of the bases already. But IB pro, 14-time champion. That is only relevant because just kind of give you some insight and some backstory on like how I got in there and like the things that I've put energy into to get to where I'm at. So yeah, maybe we can launch from there.
Yeah, no, I'd be curious to know as to how long have you been in competitive?
So I did my first amateur show back in 2014,
Okay.
and I went pro in 2017. So I've been a pro for about 8 years now, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And so again, it's funny, I always tell people I'm not a trainer. I manufacture strength training equipment. So I'm not, well in tune with all the different classes and everything.
Yeah.
So if I look at somebody like you, and let's say I take somebody like what Jay Cutler used to do.
Yeah.
Are you guys the same people, just in a different weight class, or how does that? I feel silly asking the question.
Oh, and then I think that's a good question. Like Jay Cutler, he was in the open class, so like that's the open division. So it's the guy like more the mass monsters, more like size, also looking for symmetry. But I'm in physique, so it's a division a little bit under. So it's the smaller guys, but they're still looking for the same like quality of muscle, but just not as big. Still the symmetry, still the conditioning and all that, but just not as big.
Okay. Not as big size. Okay,
Yeah.
Got it. And so what's the weight limitation, or when you're the open, it doesn't matter. You can weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
So for us, it goes by a weight. So they go by your height first. So depending on your height, you have a weight cap that you can't exceed, and that's how it works for us.
Okay. So then I'm curious, as far as the yoga connection with strength training, how do you incorporate that, or what do you use that portion for? Is that just a whole separate deal that
like when she had mentioned earlier, like I know that it's when you first hear about it and what I do, you'll associate those things and think that's why I associate those things. But for me, it was more an emotional, more of a spiritual journey. Like me getting into yoga, it was something that was offered in the MPTI. It's a school that I went to after I got the Navy. So, but that was like the one thing that tied all the other modalities together for me. Because when I was younger, I was like, and growing up, I'm into like esoterics and things of that nature. So like going into yoga, it connected so many different things that I didn't think it would. But just my yoga practice is more for my energy, more for my chakras to make sure I'm aligned. Because I feel like if I'm that way, it makes everything else in my life smoother. So I understand the benefits when it comes to bodybuilding and strength training, but that's not the reason why I got into it.
Interesting. Yeah. So, gosh, I guess trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. So, for somebody like yourself, are you constantly competing, or constantly keeping the body as if you were competing next month?
So I've been like, since I started to compete, it's been like that. But for the past year and a half, 2 years almost, I took off. So 2024, the Arnold in March that year, that was my last competition. Then I just took off up until I should be competing here maybe in September, but it's been the most time that I've taken off stage since I started. So, and this year, I kind of got re-cemented in my yoga practice. Like I became a yoga instructor in 2020, and like I would sprinkle it into my practice, into my routine every now and again. But then like once I took time off the stage, I kind of like rooted myself in it, doing it daily and like actually doing the breath work associated with it, doing the asana associated with it. And that just was, it helped me look into myself a lot more in this time.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the different styles of training. Like today, it opened my eyes interviewing Ashley Kaltwasser in regards to how different the type of training. Obviously, she's neurotically focused on what she does. I mean, it's
precise
her life, right? But it's so different.
Yeah.
The type of training, and again, not to shift gears so far off, but I had an interview. I interviewed a guy recently, Charlie the Cannibal, who's an MMA guy, and he barely lifts weights at all.
Yeah,
because it's not part of his regimen, but he's in great shape.
Yeah.
So when you think about all the different things, so somebody like yourself, when you're training hard to get that size? Are you just going through the conventional workouts, the squats, the deadlifts, the benches? I mean, what does that routine look like for you, and how many days a week?
Okay, so for me, days a week, 5 days a week. And when it comes to the workouts that I'm doing, I think when you first start, you'll stick to the basics and whatnot. But then once you build a strong foundation, you want to start getting angles so you can like develop the line to get that, just get a different type of shape, get a different kind of like package than anyone else. So like that's when you start focusing on like getting more specific with angles and
Right.
different machines and stuff.
Interesting. So, but is it conventional, like 5 days a week? What do those days look like? Or is it the old, I come from the school way back where it was legs, back, biceps, chest, shoulders, triceps, right?
Not much has changed. Not much has changed. So I'll do something very similar to that. I'd like do a chest day, do a back day, do a shoulder day, do a leg day. Some days sometimes I'll split the quads and the hamstrings up and do hamstrings with like some other posterior work. But just like I'm more intuitive with it when I go in there, but I know I have to make sure I hit each muscle group.
Yeah, interesting. And so at 5 days a week, what do those workouts look like? How many hours a day, or 1 hour, 2 hours?
I'm in there 45 minutes to an hour. Like I think what I've come to like understand and learn, like when you're doing hypertrophy, it's more about stimulating the muscle and like getting out. It's like mind muscle connection. Before I used to go in there do a lot of volume. Now it's make sure you connect with the muscle, like feel it. Don't you use weight? You don't use too much weight. As long as you can control the weight and like you can control how much it hurts and how much your body feels. Like that's how I train now. 45 minutes and then get out of there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that you have to be in the gym 2 hours, be doing some people used to say cardio an hour and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, I never thought that. I'm not a pro trainer by any means, but I always got great results in and out in 30 to 45 minutes, as long as I was focused.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And hitting it hard, felt the pump. But I'm curious to ask you, since I'm in the equipment building side of things, have you noticed the evolution in the last few years as to where strength training has gone?
Strength training and strength training equipment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like they are getting more specific with angles and like trying to like maximize angles, also relieve pain, relieve stress on the joints. I feel like that's one of the other things that they're like trying to like input into the new equipment. Like that's what I'm seeing right now.
And biomechanic correctness. It's funny because I started, 47 years ago building strength equipment. I was building benches, and then later on I learned the biomechanics of weight machines, leg extensions, curls, pec flies, or whatever.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people don't understand, if a pivot point, for example, the axis of rotation is in the wrong spot, you can do some damage to people, right? I used to see people sitting on a leg extension machine, and I'll never forget, and I used to tell people, I learned early on that if you're using a machine like a leg extension in general, you want that axis of rotation arm to feel like there was no weight. You were sitting in a chair, moving your legs in that position. And if you've ever watched anybody use a machine like that and you see the roller pad climb up their legs, that's biomechanically incorrect. The pivots are not aligned with the joint.
Okay.
The newbie doesn't know that, right? The newbie's not going to know that. So I played with that category for a long time. Oh gosh, I guess between 78 and 98. So 20 years I played with strength machines, benches. And then I was bored kind of for a minute.
Yeah.
And I thought I would attack the weight bar and dumbbell category. And it's just ironic that when I started in 1998 playing with Olympic bars, trying to make the best Olympic bar you could buy, trying to solve the dumbbell loosening because dumbbells always fell apart.
Gotcha. Okay.
The bumper plate, rubber that, chunks of rubber and, pick a thing. So I went after all those different categories one by one. But what I never realized or thought about back in the late 90s was fast forward to 2025. This category is the most popular category across the board. I mean, weights, bars, dumbbells, band training.
Okay.
Plate loaded equipment's on fire right now.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
I would have never thought.
And like when it comes to cables, which you had, that's something that you also like look deeply into. Like
sure.
Because I when it comes to shoulders, I know like cable workouts give me like the most benefit from them because like constant tension. Like there's something that you've seen with cables is that something that you like? Do you prefer cables?
Yeah, well, again, it's back to basics. It's funny. This is going to sound really funny, but I travel a lot, and I've got 2 terrible bicep tendons.
Okay.
From doing bench press.
Gotcha.
And doing it not warmed up enough, and it's just they've been so painful. I can't barely do anything that's an overhead press. And I went back to something as simple as doing 80 to 100 correct push-ups on the floor.
Yeah.
I had a chest burn I'd never felt before. And it's like, so you think about it now, let's see, you can buy a $5,000 machine or you can sit on the floor and do some push-ups.
The genius and simplicity. You know what I mean? Like that.
Well, that's where it's come back to.
Uh-huh.
It's come back to that. And so when you realize now, I'll give you another great parallel. We all know what a dip chin assist machine is. I would assume, I know you guys do.
Yes.
Where you've got an assisted dip with a weight stack and you do
press it down, right?
Right. And
okay.
And it's all designed about how out of shape you are. You add more weight to counterbalance the body so you can actually do a pull-up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're super strong, you're doing it with no weight, right?
Yeah.
But back in the day, a machine like that was $3,000. Today, you take a rubber band, hook it across 2 band pegs, and you do a regular pull-up.
Yeah.
And the weaker you are, you use a thicker rubber band, and the stronger you are, you don't use any rubber band.
Like that all that equipment just replaced by rubber band.
$3,000+ machine.
That's insane. That's insane.
So, yeah, it's interesting. And so, when you think about all that evolution, for me, it's great because now people understand that you don't have to fall into all the gimmicks. How do you feel about cardio versus strength? It's $1 million question. A lot of people debate over it.
I think obviously cardiovascular, like that's the main importance of it. So you want to have like that. You want to have a healthy heart, that heart rate variability. Like understand that your heart could take different levels of intensity and activity. I think that's where it's important. But strength, I feel like just strength could also lend to like your cardiovascular health as well.
Right.
So I feel like if something covers more bases, it's more beneficial. So I do feel like strength training is probably more beneficial. I would prefer that over cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's been the consensus for several years now, where, before everybody thought it had to be cardio. And then the experts came out and said, no, if you could only choose one, it would be strength.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's kind of funny because in the past when I used to wear the heart rate monitors, I would see that you would get, if you work out with enough intensity lifting weights, you do get that heart rate.
I get a little flutter sometimes. If I'm like lifting, like heavy, and you got to go past that little burn, you feel your heart flutter a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get you.
Yeah, so I guess, the moral of the story is the industry's changed so much, and I like it. And now for me, it's good for me because this is the business I'm in. Weights, bars, dumbbells, plate-loaded machines, bands, balls, all that type of stuff. And now for me, what I see is one of the biggest opportunities, well, for the industry in general, is education. Showing people how to work out correctly. I mean, I don't want to use the word of the famous training that became popular 10 or 15 years ago, where you didn't need any experience, and for $2,000 you could get a license to train people in a weekend, and people were hurt like crazy. So it's like, if you look at somebody like yourself, look at how long you've been at it, right? Religiously at it. So I think that one of the biggest opportunities for people to make money in today's fitness game is with education, because people want education.
Yeah.
They really do. People want to know how to work out correctly.
And I feel like experience-based education is very valuable because again, people could learn from the book, and then you'll and think that it applies to every kind of body type, when sometimes you have to go in there and feel it yourself to see what's actually happening, to teach someone properly. So I get that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's like, one thing that we've talked about is, so I have these aspirations in my mind watching what other club chains are doing today, where we see, the big box chains getting rid of basketball, racquetball's long gone.
Gotcha, okay.
And they've repurposed space for platforms. Like, for example, we make an amazing dead drop quiet platform.
Okay.
And I would have never thought that deadlifting on a platform, or just dropping a bar with plates, a bar and plates on a platform would be popular.
Yeah.
It's one of the hottest things going right now.
Gotcha.
Regular clubs like a 24 and LVAC, Rochester Athletic Club in Minnesota, we just put in 10 half rack platforms.
Yeah.
This is a general purpose facility.
But there's so many people doing this stuff now.
And you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing that shift over in the change. But again, it's because people have understood or discovered, I should say, the type of training that they like, and they're
Yeah.
getting results. What's interesting is where I was starting to go with this. My mind works a little fast sometimes.
I get you. I get you.
where I was going with it was that when I use the word, so everybody in my world right now, when I look at the club chains,
Mhm.
they're all making a move, and they're making a move fast to try to attack this new wave of deadlifting and squatting and Olympic lifting and
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But again, the big boxes like that don't have the professional networks of people.
Okay.
You know, they've got employees. They don't have real life pros. And real life pros
Okay, I get
like
you.
yourself are either in business for yourself or whatever it
They're
is.
not gonna
right?
go to a chain to work. Yeah.
No, I mean, we had a guy, tell me not too long ago. He said, I live in Orange County, California. And he said, they're paying me $70,000. I can't rent an apartment if I had 4 roommates in
Yeah.
Southern California at that. So that's why you get the caliber in a lot of instances of people that they're not trainers at all.
Hmm.
They passed a weekend examination and it's all about the revenue. So for me, for what I think is amazing is we use the word sports specific training.
Okay.
And a lot of people will say, or elite sports training or sports performance training, elite, whatever, however you want to term it. But years ago, that was only available to people that had a lot of money.
Okay.
They could afford to pay somebody at that upper level,
Mhm.
right? And even today, I'm assuming that a high level athletic trainer, if you were hiring somebody that was capable of training a pro football player or otherwise, is got to be $150 or more an hour, I would think,
Yeah.
right? And so
Probably more. Probably more for that
maybe
though.
more.
Yeah.
And how much are you gonna have to spend to learn anything to really be able to be turned loose? And so I think, in my opinion, I've been telling everybody the future is more of private centers that are led by people that are pros that don't want 5,000 people. They want 500 maybe
Got you.
in a nice facility, and everybody gets that one-on-one, and you actually learn something. And people are willing at that point to pay, and it's all about results.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've been involved in that or seen what the industry is doing.
It's funny that you mentioned that because there's like a new gym out here, like it's called Savage Fitness, but I am seeing that trend happen where it's like very small, private, intimate gyms. Membership is like very exclusive, but they have industry professionals there. Like either they're like a pro in a different division or in the IBB, and like
Right.
those are the people who run the gym. So I do see that. And I didn't think about that before, but
Oh yeah, no,
that's what's
for me
that is what's
that's
happening.
going to be the future, because it's like everybody would love to hire the best architect, the best engineer if you're building a house, whatever it may be. And the crazy part of it is that you will pay almost the same money for the bad version,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
People without the real skill.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah,
Just the
so-
environment. If the environment's the same.
Well, it's about references.
Yeah.
It's like one of my biggest pushes right now for people getting into the so many people say, oh, I'm going to open a gym. What do you know about opening a gym, right? You ever had a gym before? What's your goals? You want to be a Me Too? You want to compete against all the massive gyms out there? Or do you want to be the one that people say, oh, I got to go to that gym because
Yeah.
I've got the right trainers or whatever? So, yeah, just curious if you had a read on that. I really think that's the where the industry is going. But I didn't ever ask you, what's your day job? What do you do?
So I'm also an online coach.
Okay.
Online coach and a bodybuilder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you do day to day.
Absolutely.
And then do you teach yoga classes separately?
So if one of my clients, like I'll go over like sequences with them. So, but I don't like broadcast that I like teach yoga classes. So if someone wants it specifically, they'll contact me and I'll go like one-on-one sessions with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So online coaching. What is your take? You do that. So
Absolutely.
So I know the guys that have the app. I don't know if you know Jared Feather.
Yes.
You ever met Jared?
Yeah.
Jared,
Good guy. He's a good
great
dude.
guy. Walked in and was intrigued by me teaching him about what it took to make an Olympic bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened his eyes and he said, man, I can't believe it. But he's part of that Renaissance periodization where they
Yes.
do that app. And they've got a big following. And so is that something you do similar to that?
It's similar. They're very, very, very meticulous with their methods. Like, and their platform is very, very vast. I do something very similar. My angle, my direction for it is a bit different. But Similar. So online coaching and education.
So, I guess I'd have to ask if somebody like myself was on your team as wanting you to online coach me. It's one-on-one.
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not able to lead group classes, I wouldn't assume, online, right?
Yes, exactly. So like if it's one-on-one and if we schedule something, we schedule like a yoga session or something like that. But in my coaching, I'm very big on like the energetic aspect of it. So like, yeah, if you want to do a show, like that's great. I'll make sure you have the diet, make sure you have the workout plan, but make sure you're also doing your meditation. Make sure you're doing breath work. Make sure you incorporate some kind of yoga, some kind of like movement for your fascia, so like for your energy center. Like that's the kind of thing that I'm focused on with my clients.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like Sergio Oliva Jr., I remember him saying that everybody asked him, well, how do I look like you?
Yeah.
His comment, humbly, not arrogantly, was, well, you most likely won't. And is that really what you're trying to do? Right?
Yeah,
You're not trying to do
exactly.
that as a general person. You want to know how to be in good shape. And so it's kind of interesting. It's all about that path.
You have to decide what you want out of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Out of your pursuit.
Right. So you obviously must live a very regimented diet, obviously, right?
And as of right now, I do. Like when I'm not competing, I eat more freely, more intuitively. But once I'm in competition season, that's when it's definitely more regimented.
The world flips upside down.
Kind of, but I'm not a big food person like that anyway. So I'd rather keep it simple, but then also have the freedom to like enjoy something when I want to.
Right. God, I mean, in the past, I knew so many bodybuilders that were the hardest people to be around when they were training.
Yeah.
I mean, they were either starved or
I get you.
pissed off
in a bad
about
mood.
Oh my God, horrible moods. So, well, no, it's been great, very enlightening, and again, you're the type of person that I'm excited to show what I do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because somebody like yourself that knows, I live in a world where I love to impress people by what I do. Not smoke and mirrors, not me paying you a bunch of money to say, hey, say my product's good. That's not what I do. And I also learn from people like yourself all day long about how to make products that'll, hold up to the most punishing environments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole different world. So yeah, we'll have to walk out on the floor when we're done here, and I want to show you what we do. But
Perfect.
Is there anything you want to know about me or?
Okay, so just in the world that you're in, this is something that I heard when it comes to making equipment, right? Like each company, you have to. I heard that you have to make each set of equipment or each brand of equipment, like there has to be certain changes in it and like the angle that you use. Is there any truth to that?
You mean to not be called a copier
yes,
or an infringer?
Yes, because there's like certain, I guess, proprietary designs for each one, and like how did that work? How do you fit that in? Like how do you mitigate that? Because there's so much different equipment out. You know what I mean? Like how do you?
Interesting question. So without going too deep,
yeah,
because I can.
Okay.
That'll be coming up.
Yeah.
But it's like, for example, so have you ever heard of this of a barbell called a Cerakote barbell? The word Cerakote.
No, I have not.
You have not.
Mm-mm.
So it'll be something that we're going to do an episode on or some shorts. But so Cerakote, for years and years and years, people have made black bars.
Okay.
But they were black oxide, which is a very, very short-term coating, no rust prevention. It rusts immediately.
Gotcha.
And then when black really became popular, probably in the 2012, 2013, Olympic training revitalized. CrossFit was a big part of blowing that up. Black bars were popular, and I had already been a bar builder. By 2012, I had probably made 125,000 U.S. made Olympic bars by that point.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to attack the black barbell because it was a pain to figure. Customers are funny. I can give you a black bar, and as long as I can hand it to you, and for 1 second it looks good, then you can't complain. But as soon as if I give it to you with a scratch on it, you're going to scratch it in 1 minute.
Yeah.
In 1 minute.
Yeah.
If I give it to you scratched,
they want it brand new.
and it shipped to New York from Vegas, and they want a new bar. So what I did was I solved that problem with a Cerakote coating, which was actually a firearm coating for rifle stocks and things. And I developed it with a gun company, an accessory company, one of the most famous in the world, good long-time friends out of California. Well, I'm hesitant to ever mention a name anymore in public because people copy my stuff so fast.
Yeah.
In the event of the Cerakote, it's a ceramic coating. And ceramic's really hard, and it's a science to process it. And my buddy who does all the master tool and die work and machining and programming for this very famous global gun accessory company said, why don't we try Cerakote? I didn't know what it was, and we tried it. We did some of the testing, and it turned out to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
And I almost called it ceramic, and I had people on my team go, no, call it Cerakote.
Yeah.
The word was never heard of prior in the entire industry or world, and now it's heard all over the world. And, you know, there was nothing, to your point where you asked me about protection and whatever.
Yeah.
That's not something that I could have patented, I don't believe. You know, hindsight's 20/20. But
to know that you were there at its inception, like of a term.
My mind's rolling on the whole concept of how we laugh, my buddy and I that helped me develop, about how we like to use the term we screwed the moose on that deal by not thinking a little bit and locking the door, at least getting some royalties or whatever. And then companies just popped on the scene in every corner developing it, and nobody ever came back and said, hey, American Barbell developed it first. Now, in regards to other stuff, just FYI for you, because you sound curious, when you develop something, there's two styles of patents. There's a design, which is how it looks, and then there's a utility of how it functions.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So now so let me give you a great example. I build a dumbbell, my Series 1 dumbbell, where the handle actually has these screws. We call them splines.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen how you put a steering wheel on a car. It's got the splines. So I patented a handle with those splines back in 2010, and the splines are much harder than the dumbbell, so I can press it into the head, and it'll cut the female with the male splines. And it's revolutionary. I think it's the strongest. I know it's the strongest dumbbell that's ever been created. I've built probably, of that version, more than 2 million pairs since 2008 or 9.
Gotcha.
That you can patent, and it's called a utility patent. Now the problem is it's inside the head, and how am I going to know if somebody copied it without tearing everybody's stuff apart? But the point is that's a utility. So when it comes to biomechanics and machines and stuff, the only reason you'd ever have to worry about changing an angle of something is if it was a patented exact duplicate of that.
Gotcha.
The function.
Okay.
So back in the day, I always make the joke, probably before you were born.
Probably.
Oh gosh, what year was this? When Gary Jones is a friend of mine whose father was Arthur that started Nautilus, and Gary Jones developed hammer strength.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so Hammer was one of the first companies ever that had converging axes. So I don't know if you remember, well, now everybody has it because the patents are long expired.
Yeah.
So even when you invent something 17, 18 years later, it's gone.
The time limit on it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah. There's this, but some cases 17 and, anyway, thereabouts. But the way the patents were written, bad attorneys at the time, the patents weren't protectable enough. And because a lot of people get tripped up and go, oh, you just change a little thing. Well, that's a design patent.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay.
Right? You make an Olympic plate with 4 slots in it, and so do I. My slots just need to look different than your holes.
Yeah.
And then we've gone around it, no harm, no foul.
So it's not like an easy...
utility, you're not doing that, right? If I developed the first corkscrew to take a cork out of a wine bottle, that's a utility. It's going to be hard to knock that off.
Gotcha.
But when you write the terms for it, you've got to write the terms
specific to what it does.
Exactly what it does, and I don't care how you change the look of it. I developed the first way to extract a cork out of a bottle.
Yeah.
So biomechanically with machines and stuff, it's really, really tough. I can't think of very many machines that were ever developed that were so unique.
Yeah.
But now to tell you, like a design patent, we have on our Olympic bar sleeve, we weld our signature. The way you know that you're looking at an American barbell bar is you'll be able to recognize this beautiful precision TIG weld, like you see on motorcycles and really high level stuff.
What's the TIG weld?
It's the look of it. I'll show. Well, that's where we can drop in the podcast. That's what we're going to do.
Some images.
We just talked about this. We'll drop in a photo and we'll zoom in on that. Anyway, it's the most precise, beautiful way to make a weld that people look at. A lot of welds you don't see, they're hidden, whatever. this is one that looks like a piece of jewelry.
Got
And so that's how people know it's an American barbell bar. But what I patented was the weld is tucked under the sleeve, meaning the face. It's hidden, so when you put the weight plate on it, the weld doesn't kick the plate out.
Gotcha.
Right, so it sits flush. So that's a design patent that I filed because there was no way to file a utility because bar sleeves have been there forever.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if I developed a bar sleeve that brought me a cup of coffee, then I'd have
that's a function, yes.
Yeah. So you get it. So, but anyway, yeah, that's there's a lot to that, and I've never been known as a copy guy, so I don't knock off people's stuff. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that we all look
that's cool, yeah.
Well, here's one thing why I stopped filing for patents. I had 4 or 5 over the years, and 2 or 3 of them are still active. But for me, it wasn't worth it because then you get an infringer, somebody that copies, and they don't have any money. I used to tell people that you would love an infringer that had money. Because then it's a viable deal. But there's too many little guys that'll copy something, and what are you going to do? And I learned over the years that the reputable companies, like I do a lot of OEM work, which means high volume. Like I build a product line for Panada right now, a weight bar dumbbell product.
That's dope. Okay, gotcha.
And I do one for Hammer Strength, and I do one for, well, I build for a lot of other companies, and they buy my brand. OEM means that you put on their brand, and people don't necessarily know it's me.
Like black label for like supplements, black label type thing, where like you're making it, but gotcha.
Sure,
okay.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I've done most of my business for years and years has been OEM work, which is original equipment manufacturer. And then I go down the rabbit hole of when people go, well, what does that mean? And I say, well, I'm a car guy. So if you look at a headlight in a BMW, a Porsche, a Ferrari, whatever it is, who makes that headlight? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Bosch.
Gotcha.
We've all seen Bosch headlights. Bosch is in every single high-end car in the world. But it doesn't say Bosch.
Yeah.
Or, or it'll say whatever it'll say. So that's what I've been for most of my career, is the guy behind the scenes. So
the plug.
the guy behind the scenes. So I'm the guy now that's trying to come out from behind the scenes and wake people up and say, hey, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
It's nice that you think that these 2 guys in a room decided to go overseas and make a strength line with 0 experience, and they ordered the product out of a book.
Yeah.
Where's the engineering? Where's the safety testing? So, again, back to episodes, and I can't wait till I get into more technical episodes with people in general or just education. But one of my biggest pushes now, like if you were opening a gym, how are you going to buy equipment? You're going to just follow what so-and-so bought and, oh, I've seen this and I've seen that. Well, what I like to teach people is interview your vendor.
Okay.
Right? How am I going to choose a heart surgeon? Cheapest guy on the internet?
Yeah.
Right? Probably not.
Recommendations, hopefully.
So education, back to, qualified trainers, back to what it takes. Like I love the opportunity. If you were doing a gym and you knew me, I'd love the opportunity to walk you through every manufacturer I knew and say, hey, this is great. You're not going to get hurt with these 3 companies or whatever.
Gotcha.
Not getting paid off by them to tell you that.
Yeah.
And I could look at something. I just did this for a guy not too long ago that showed me one of these new companies that popped out of nowhere. And I said, well, and there's one that's making some headway right now that's got a lot of money behind them with marketing.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I told the buyer, the potential buyer, I said the manufacturer up until 2 years ago made nothing but shopping center, grocery store shelves.
Oh, wow. So
what does that have to do with biomechanics?
I get you.
Biomechanics and nobody's heard me say this before, but I'll say this. It's one of my favorite lines. Are you a Shark Tank watcher?
I've seen it before, but I don't watch it religiously. No.
It? So most of people out there have heard Mr. Wonderful look at somebody. Let's say you and I were in a room and we said, "Oh yeah, we've got this great line of equipment." And Mr. Wonderful, one of the top dogs, I think he's a billionaire, will say, so what's to keep somebody with more money squashing you like the cockroach you are, right? What do you have?
Yeah.
Because they love patents. They think it's just an amazing thing. But what I tell people, I would have loved the opportunity to be on that show to say, here's the difference. It's time, and you can't accelerate time. So I don't care how much money you have. somebody could be a billionaire and say they're going to compete against me.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money somebody has. How are you going to accelerate the 47 years it took me to
Perfect something.
To perfect something, right?
Yeah.
And to know, I mean, I've seen bumper plates blow apart in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And bumper plates that look identically the same 4 years later that lasted.
He's saying something right now. You saying something right now.
Well, that's my point, right?
It's just like when it comes to like a chef or cooking, something like that, like just the energy that you put over the time in the year that compounds, it could look the same, supposedly the same thing, but the energy you put into it at the time, it can be replaced. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No,
I like
that's
that.
key.
I like that.
So
I like that.
And you see what I love and I live for. So I live for that education when somebody like yourself that's a smart guy in so many areas that I know nothing about, but I do know how to build equipment that's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, I built stuff for, a lot of pro athletes, and it's like, can you imagine, here's what I tell people, can you imagine selling a pro athlete that has a $200 million contract and you sold him something that maimed his career?
Yeah.
Oops, you're gone. And the crazy part of it is if it's a company without any credibility, that person or group can be gone and that athlete's on their own.
Yeah.
And see, that's the same thing with the gym owner. So that's why we tell people, look, interview your vendor, ask experience. And so back to the you can't accelerate time. Exactly. Master chefs, master, cake bakers, whatever it may be.
Intention, like just compounded like that.
Well, it's I say to people all the time, it's like, and I deal with it with, people every day in different parts of business. And it's like, did you learn anything? Did you ever want to teach yourself anything?
Yeah.
And to be really good at what you do is hard. So what I love to tell people is that if you're looking at what I do, there's 50 competitors that do what I do. And I humbly say nobody does it at my level. But why would you want me to just tell you that? What I'm going to do is give you the tools to go out and check who I sell to, who I make product for, how long I've been doing it. And one of the best sales tools I have for salespeople these days is I give the customer the tools to go ask the questions to the vendor. Go interview the vendor. Here's what I want you to ask that guy that says they make Olympic bars. I have two competitors. This is really funny. The viewers will appreciate this. I have two competitors. One has a flashy product and has been around. They're both actually foreign companies. Believe it or not, they're UK companies. And one puts an end cap on a 28 millimeter bar and calls it a power bar. Okay.
There's supposed to be like weight distribution things
No,
in there as well. Isn't
a
there?
power bar is only a 29 millimeter or bigger bar.
Got you. Okay.
Even Sergio said to me, he goes, I never knew that. So people don't, right?
Yeah.
He knows that he used my 28. It was funny, before Sergio was on my team, he works out a lot at Cult Fitness, and I watched him do I guess it's called a rack pull, right? Where the bar's sitting on the safety bars.
Which right below the knees.
Well, the safety bars were down there, and he was pulling 600, and he was only dropping it about 3 inches.
Yeah.
And I called the owner of the gym, and I said, hey, man, he's using that wrong. And the owner goes, I'm not telling him. And I said, well, then we better make him the right tools. Right?
Yeah.
We should get him some soft catches. Because one thing you never want to do with the bar is shock it on metal, on something hard.
Got you.
Never. And we'll go back to dropping videos in and things. I can show you some tests that we've done are just insane. But I'll go to the second competitor. And remember, I'll give you the second competitor is hysterical. They'll go to a trade show. They'll spend $250,000. They look like they're this amazing company, right? And the stuff is very far down the totem pole for quality. And then on their website, they will call knurling on a bar grip assisted etching. And I had to tell a customer, I go, what is that? Grip assisted etching? Isn't that knurling?
Okay.
It's 101.
Like basic vocabulary that they don't really have the experience to know how to. Yeah.
And the public thinks they're this ginormous company with zero education. But good marketing. So anyway, you can see the rabbit holes I go down.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. But I never really thought of like designing equipment to have all the. But of course, a lot of things have the same like fundamentals associated with them. But you don't really think about that being included inside like equipment making. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the intention, how much like experience is needed to make a quality product and for it to like have the energy to last and sustain. Like it, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
No, and I'll tell you, to cap it off, when you think about how to produce something, especially that gets used a lot. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, some of the early weight stack machines I made that ended up in the hands of Life Fitness are 30 years old and they're still all over the world going strong.
Yeah.
And I mean, you think about that, right? And I see people showing me videos of, these new guys jumping on the scene with arms that snap off and, crazy stuff. And then I was saying earlier on a prior podcast that you won't know what that thing's back to you can't accelerate time.
Yeah.
So unless you can see how that thing's going to fare over the next 10 or 15 years, how do you accelerate that? Now, the big guys will, your Life Fitnesses, your Techno Gyms, your Matrixes, your big power companies, they'll test.
Okay.
They'll do hang tests, drop tests, pull tests. They'll do things to test material. But, when it goes, the thing, and again, my mind works crazy, so I got to remember where I left off in something.
Yeah.
But, back to bars in 28, 29, 25 millimeter. And again, I try to say I'll cap off, but I never, now I'm on the roll.
Yeah. It's all good.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
But you had mentioned something about like, this is one product that like when you make it, you don't even like how long it has to last and like how much wear and tear it's going to be under. Like there's very few things that are like that where it's like this is going to get beat up for a long time. So you have to like put a lot. You don't really think about that from the mind of a person who's making it. You know what I'm saying? Like what they have to put into it.
It's really
it's
funny.
kind of nuts.
It's really funny. Several years ago, my son said to me when he joined my team, he said, "How is it that our industry escaped the requirement of needing some kind of proof that before you made a product that could hurt or kill someone, you had any experience? There's so many other businesses you can't jump into, right?
I get you.
You can't jump into the car manufacturing business or the firearm manufacturing business, make a gun that shoots backwards. You can't do any of that, right?
There's like no engineering degree that you need?
Nothing.
That's wild. That's wild.
So
That's
think
wild.
about that, right? Tomorrow, anyone can just say, and sadly during the COVID pandemic, everybody and their brother decided to be in the game because they saw this giant gap.
Void.
Giant gap. I mean, it was crazy. So, what I was going to say was that, so for many years between 1998 and 2012, I made a gym bar, which is a single bar just for guys that deadlift, squat, and bench press. And then I made a curl bar, just like a little 5-foot curl bar, all Olympic, and a straight bar for what it was worth. And those were the only bars I made. And then I made some cable attachments, and my focus was always plates and dumbbells and, those Olympic bars. And then I was an OEM for Techno Gym Italy and, a bunch of different people over the years. But it wasn't until 2012 that an Olympic champion weightlifter lady came to me and she said, "Hey, you ought to be in the Olympic bar game." And I go, "Well, what is it?" She said, "Oh, it's the 5 kilo, the 10 kilo, the 15 kilo, the needle bearing bar and all this." And I'm going, "Whoa," didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So, but of course I had to study the specs, where the knurl is, what's the difference, who wants the aggressive knurl, who doesn't. If a lady is competing and competitive in IWF, International Weightlifting Federation lifting, she can only use a 25 millimeter bar. Okay. That's a small bar.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you think about some of these gym trainings that popped up with, these early functional facilities, there were so many injuries because you were putting somebody out of shape with a 20 kilo bar and some heavy plates, and they were blowing out shoulders and everything. So I learned all those parameters. Yeah. Right? And I already had the bar experience to know it was safe. And then I went on to perfect some cool stuff, needle bearing bars and Cerakote and stuff like that. So what's shocking to me now is when you're dealing with people that are at that level, pro Olympic lifters, generally the Olympic lifters are the most anal.
Got you.
They know. I mean, they could put their hand on a 28 millimeter bar,
feel it if
and
it's
in 1 second they'll know that 1 millimeter is only 30 thousandths of an inch.
yeah.
I mean, that's thin. 10 sheets of paper, right? And they can feel it, and they know the difference. And so the gym world, what's crazy is the gym people don't have a clue. The buyers, even a guy like Sergio, who said to me, shit, I didn't know I should be using a 29 millimeter bar.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you should, because a 28 millimeter weightlifting bar is very ductile, very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
You want that whip, they call it.
Gotcha.
Right? Because you want that bounce to assist.
To give a little,
To assist your lift.
Gotcha.
A power lifter, squatter, deadlifter, never wants a bar like that
Gotcha.
because they want it stiff.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want it stiff. And again, swear I'm going to cap off on this one. But one of the biggest misconceptions, and I'll go into it in my bar educational video, is the novices jumped on board and everybody said tensile strength. You probably heard, oh, high tensile strength, 240 tensile strength, blah, blah, blah. Well, the higher tensile means strength. Well, tensile is the resistance to breaking, what it would take to break it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And yield strength is ductility, the force it would take to permanently deform it.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So you don't want a bar you always want a bar to bend before you ever want it to break.
snap, yeah.
Ever. Never. So to get that bar hard enough without making it brittle like glass, you can change the bar structure. You can take a perfectly good bar that would normally be a good bar, and you can do something to it after the machining process of making it beautiful.
Yeah.
And maybe you plate it with a certain chrome or something, you can turn it to glass.
Got you. That's wild.
Who would know that?
Yeah.
The guy that just was in it for 35 minutes. So anyway, well, shoot, man. I'm glad that you, thanks for coming in. I'm glad that you, I didn't bore you to tears, number one.
This was interesting.
And yeah, a lot more. Look forward to walking you through everything and letting you see what we're doing, and we'll collaborate on some stuff.
Sounds good. All
right. Well, listen, thanks everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks to Kyron, and I'm gonna have him teach me some yoga stuff coming up.
That'll be good. That'll be good for you, actually.
Oh boy, I need it. Thank you, guys.